Whilst on my job, my customer has asked me if I wouldn't mind taking a look at this bookshelf. So what they've said was there's a ring appeared on the woodwork. So if you see here, this sort of riveling, crocodiling effect on the paintwork. I've seen this before. So what I did was, first thing was get a piece of tissue and I just dabbed the surface and took a smell, and it absolutely stinks. It's scented oil. So use a tissue to check something like this. Don't use your fingers, because this stuff will soak into your skin and it'll stink for ages. So yeah, and what I did notice, if you look down there, there's one of those plug-in scented oils. So I can only guess that someone's unplugged it from there to use the socket and popped it up here. And if there's any bit of leakage on one of them, then that's what it can do. It doesn't have to be on there long. It only has to be on there a minute or two, but the oil then is on the surface. So there is a warning actually on the packaging of these things and any other type of scented oil that it can cause damage to painted surfaces. Well, that's what it does. And the chances are that has eaten into a couple of layers of paint, so it could create a bit of a hole. So I'll show you how we can get rid of that. Well, if we just take a closer look at that, you can see it's not totally round. And when I take a look at the bottom of this plug-in, you see that square bottom to it. That's where that's been sat. So yeah, it definitely is that. And I know because of the smell. First of all, taking a cloth soaked in white spirit, wipe this out. Anywhere where you know it's contaminated, just give it a good rub. So you can literally see the shape of the bottom of that bottle there now. So luckily it looks like it's only took the first layer of paint off. And when you're satisfied that you've removed all traces of the oil, any bits of debris, then using some methylated spirits, give it a good rub just to remove any residue. This will slightly soften the surface of the paint, but it will remove any residue and evaporate really quick. So I'm just going to give the whole lot now a wipe over. Ready for the next stage. As soon as this is dry, once the methylated spirits has evaporated, this is ready for sanding down. Now, I don't really need anything too coarse. I just need to feather this off So I'm ready for my next stage. So 240, I'm just going to give it a rub down, making sure I feather those edges back. And generally I will give the whole surface a key, but I need to concentrate to get this feathered. Okay, that's looking pretty good now. So that's now ready for a primer. So what I'm going to use on this is a shellac based primer. So it's quick drying. I'll give it a coat up. So I'm at the stage now where this is ready for priming. But if this had penetrated any deeper, then you would possibly have to use a fine filler, sand it back, and then paint it as you need. So I'm just ready to apply this primer now. I've put a piece of lining paper against the wall just to protect it. So being fairly quick with this, just get it on. So you can see it's took away the yellow a bit there now. So I'll be ready to apply my 2 coats of finished paint. So whichever paint you're applying, once you've got this primer on, this is ready for its painting. I've now keyed this primer. This is ready for its coat of paint. So you can see that's nice and smooth there. If you did need to fill, it's probably a good idea to use a 2-pack filler. It'll go off really quick. Just speed up the process. This is completely dry now. I've keyed it and dusted it off, and it's now ready for its final coat. Remembering, always key between your coats. Finished. That's looking good now. And to prevent it happening again, then simply you need to be sat on something. So there on a piece of slate,